Welcome back to school, scholars and parents. It's important to us that our scholars, staff, and families feel safe and prepared as we start the new school year. With the launch of remote learning in the spring during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, we recognized that we needed to make significant improvements to our remote instruction for this fall. We know this year is likely to bring new challenges and will require flexibility as families, scholars, and staff adapt to this new way of learning and teaching. We have a more consistent, robust remote learning plan for scholar learning this school year. We heard from many parents and guardians about the need for more support and consistency as we approach learning for the 2020-21 school year. This family guide reflects that, as well as the work of a 100-member continuous learning plan committee that was made up of parents, school and district staff, as well as feedback from staff, scholars, and parents from dozens of Zoom listening sessions and surveys. Additionally, this guide reflects research-based best practices and aligns with OSPI and Department of Health guidelines. It's full of valuable information for families like a day in the life of a scholar, schedules, attendance and grading, tips for setting your scholar up for success, who to contact for common questions, health and safety protocols, and more. We'll be highlighting some of this information in today's orientation. You'll notice in the family guide that we've defined some common terms. Two terms you'll hear a lot is synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous means learning that happens with the teacher in real time, like whole class Zooms. Asynchronous means learning that happens independently, such as independent reading or writing. Our family guide provides roles and responsibilities of parents and guardians to support their child with remote learning. Make sure your child attends and participates in learning every day. It's really important you create and use your Parent View account to monitor your child's progress and grades. Talk to your children about the expectations for them to participate fully in instruction and to try their hardest. It's also important to provide them with a consistent location to engage in their schoolwork. Scholars have roles and responsibilities as well. It is critical that they log into Launchpad for Learning every day to access their Canvas coursework and engage in their learning. It is expected that they participate in the live instruction as well as to log in and complete their asynchronous independent learning assignments every day. Scholars will engage in learning with a blend of synchronous and asynchronous learning. On Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, scholars will have synchronous live lessons with their teachers online in Zoom sessions. When not in synchronous learning, they will have asynchronous learning tasks to complete. On Wednesdays, scholars will have asynchronous lessons to complete, and some scholars will meet with teachers for small group instruction. Every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, elementary scholars will log into Launchpad to Learning. They will attend either an AM or a PM session. They will participate in a class meeting and receive instruction in social emotional learning. They will also have an hour of English language arts and an hour of math. Their teacher will also put in a brain break. Elementary scholars will also have time with specialists on those days. When they aren't with their teacher, including on Wednesdays, elementary students will log into Launchpad to Learning to engage in asynchronous assignments like independent reading, iReady Math, online science activities, and other assignments. Elementary students may also have times where they work with teachers in small groups during asynchronous lesson periods. Every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, middle school scholars will log into Launchpad to Learning for synchronous learning time with their teachers. Middle school scholars will have 4 class periods per day. They will have English language arts, math, science or social studies, and PE or an elective. These classes will switch at the semester. Scholars will also participate in half an hour of social emotional learning and college and career readiness activities. During asynchronous times in the afternoon and on Wednesdays, middle school students will log in again to Launchpad to Learning to engage in independent learning tasks assigned to them by their teachers. Some scholars will work with teachers for small group instruction during the time as well. Every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, high school scholars will log into Launchpad to Learning for synchronous learning time with their teachers. High school scholars will have 4 class periods per day. They have first, third, fifth, and seventh periods during the first quarter. These classes will switch at the quarter and they will take periods 2, 4, 6, and 8. They will also participate in a half an hour of social emotional learning and college and career readiness activities on those days. During asynchronous times in the afternoon and on Wednesdays, high school scholars will log in again to Launchpad to Learning to engage in independent learning tasks assigned to them by their teachers. Some scholars will work with teachers for small group instruction during this time. It's critical that scholars log into Launchpad to Learning every day. This is the one stop for all scholars for accessing their learning every day. This is how they will access Canvas, iReady, and other learning tools. Launchpad to Learning is also how scholar attendance for the asynchronous learning time will be taken. So make sure you always remember to use a Launchpad at the start of your day. We're committed to working with all our families to support the learning of our scholars. As the first and most important teacher of your child, we value your partnership in closely monitoring and setting your child up for success. We've outlined some support strategies that will help to make the remote experience more successful. First, consider finding a consistent space for your child to learn with access to learning materials, and make sure your child logs into Launchpad to Learning every day. It may be helpful to have a visual that calls out their workspace. Next, just like in regular school, routines are essential. Since synchronous instruction will be starting at the same time every day, it will be helpful to maintain a bedtime and morning routine to get the day started off right. We know you're working closely with your child for their success this school year. Establishing routines are important, and we know you are invested in your child's success throughout the entire day. An important part of this is establishing regular check-ins with your child to ask how they're doing, how you might help, and communicate with the teacher to ask questions and partner. One of the best ways to regularly check in on your scholar's progress is through the use of Parent View. Lastly, it's really important to take the time to celebrate your child's success each step of the way. During this time of remote learning, we will be taking attendance every day. It's important your child engages every school day in both the synchronous and asynchronous sessions. Because learning will be graded this year, your child's attendance is essential for their success in school. Teachers will be responsible for marking scholar absences during synchronous learning times. During asynchronous learning times, attendance will be determined based upon the scholar logging into Launchpad to Learning. If your child is going to be absent, you can call the school or use Parent View to enter the absence online. Grades are based on our existing standards-based grading and reporting system that focuses on providing meaningful feedback and grades that are clear, accurate, and meaningful. Teachers will post scores in Parent View and Student View on a regular basis so scholars and families know the student's progress towards mastery of the identified standards. Parents, please check Parent View on a routine basis to see how your child is progressing academically and provide support as needed. Throughout this presentation, you've heard about the importance of Parent View. If you haven't yet, activate your Parent View account and download the Parent View app. It can be accessed via a mobile device or a computer. Help your child be successful in school this year by regularly logging in and monitoring their progress. You can access scores, grades, and attendance. You can enter child's absences, and you'll receive important email communication from your child's teacher. Information on meal pickup times and locations is available at www.fwps.org/schoolmeals. If you have questions regarding school meals, you can call 253-945-5561 or email nutrition@fwps.org. We're fully committed to supporting families with navigating remote learning. As part of this commitment, we've developed multiple how-to videos and written instructions for families on how to use a variety of tools like Canvas, Remind, Parent View, Zoom, and more. The Family Guide is another important resource that provides more information on how these tools work, as well as links to the videos and how-to instructions. As always, reach out to your child's teacher or the school principal for additional questions you may have about accessing these technology tools and supports. We know you may have questions along the way or need to contact someone for support, and we encourage you to reach out. For many of your questions related to grades and assignments, you can reach out to your child's teacher. You can also reach out to your child's principal. Your principal can also collect your feedback on remote learning, such as through the bi-monthly principal Zoom meetings. If you have questions about technology, you can contact the help desk. You can also reach out to the school if you need help with a password reset. In Federal Way Public Schools, we celebrate the rich language diversity among our students and families. If you need language support, you can contact your child's school and request an interpreter. Also, the district website is translatable in over 100 languages, and this feature can be found on the top right of the website. Thanks for tuning in to this orientation video for the 2020-21 school year. Let's make it a great year.